Hello, Christine Halsey here with another Halsey how-to, and this is how to subnet. We're going to take an example here where we need 3 subnets of different sizes, and we're going to use our IP subnet calculator to calculate our network address, the first usable, the broadcast, the last usable, and our subnet mask for each of these subnets. Okay, so here's our requirements. And if you notice, the biggest group here is accounting. So even though it's not the first one listed, that's the group we need to start with because we have to start with our biggest group. All right, now our biggest group, the size is 64, so we could just start processing and make a group of 64, but it's not going to work because we have to have a network address and a broadcast address for this subnet. So we can't just have 64 users. So we got to have at least 66 in our group so that we can add in that network and broadcast address. So I would actually have to go with 128 for this group. Now, if I have 128 users in a group, it's going to start at 0 and go to 127. Now, if you're typing in the numbers correctly, when you get done, your number converts and you're looking at it, the decimal equivalent over here. So our first usable is 1. Our last usable is 126. Our network 0, broadcast 127. Now all we need is our subnet mask. Now with the subnet mask, we're going to do a bitwise comparison here. And yes, I could have done it in Excel for you, but I want you to practice, so that's why I didn't. All right. If the 2 bits match, then that gets a 1. It doesn't matter if they're both 1s or they're both 0s. If they're both the same, then that gets a 1. If they're opposites, then that bit gets a 0 in the subnet mask. So I'm just doing a bitwise comparison of the 2 binary numbers to determine the subnet mask. Where they stay the same, I get a 1. Where they change, I get a 0. And the decimal equivalent is my subnet mask. Okay. All right, next concept. This group ended at 127, so that tells me this group is going to start at 128. Right. This group, okay, let's label this subnet. This was accounting, and we assigned 128 users. Subnet 2 is going to be for sales, and again, we can't have just 16 users, so I'm going to go with the next group, which is 32. So that means I need to take 128 and add 32 to it. And yes, I know the answer. Just wanted to show you a quick, easy way to do it. It's 160, so that means this group will start at 160. This group will end at 159. All right. Now, as well as this being a subnet calculator, you can practice your binary conversions, because as you're putting in your bits over here, you're trying to make this equal 159. Okay, so if I go with a 64 there, I go over 159. So I'm going to go with the 1 here. Not a 1 and a 0, just a 1. That's 160, so that's 1 too high. And I know if that's 1 too high, that it takes all highs after that to make that 159. All right, then this one is 160. Oh, my fingers are not working. All right, now this last subnet is going to be for network and management, and it needs 4 addresses, and we're going to use a group of 8. So that means I need to add 8 to 160. That means this group would actually start at 168. We're not using it, but it means this group will end at 167. And yeah, I forgot a 0 there. Oops. All right. And it looks like I did that, but I forgot my subnet mask. No worries. All we have to do is come back and get our bitwise comparisons. If it stays the same, it gets a 1. Or if they are the same, it's a 1. If they're different, it gets a 0. So that subnet mask is .224. And again, if they match, it gets a 1. If they don't, it gets a 0. So that subnet mask is .248. All right, so we have 3 subnets here. Our accounting subnet starts at 0. The network address is 0. The first usable address is 1. The last usable is 126, and the broadcast address is 127. It has a subnet mask of 128, and that does not have anything to do with the fact that this is 127. It comes from this bitwise comparison. Okay, my second group starts at 128, has 32 users, so it goes to 159. The usable range is 129 to 158, and the subnet mask is 224. Okay, our last group, network and management, has 8 hosts. The network address is 160, broadcast 167, so my usable range is 161 to 166. And it has a subnet mask of 248. Hope you liked my example of subnetting. I'll try to post my calculator for you so you can practice with it if you like. Thank you.